Hey all. Hey, I want to talk about this guitar. A quote-unquote Les Paul. This is a Chinese counterfeit guitar. So we're going to talk about this. What we're not going to talk about is have a big long debate about Chibson guitars and counterfeiting and the ethical, moral, legal, financial, economic implications of all that. We're not going to do that. That's a great debate, very valid conversation for some other channel, not for this channel. This channel, today, we're just going to talk about a guitar I bought that is I've owned probably, I don't know, 70, 80 Les Pauls in my life. This is my favorite. this Chibson. So let's talk about it. Where'd I get it? All that. Okay. It is for me, this is a Peter Green Les Paul. For some people, it would be a Gary Moore or Kirk Hammett Les Paul. For me, it's Peter Green. I got this on eBay, and you know they did the whole relic. In fact, believe it or not, the relicing on this is really well done. So let's kind of talk through it head to toe. The inlay, the logo on this, I don't know if it's getting it. It's hard to tell. That is not an inlay. That's a decal. So depending on which, there's a bunch of different makers that make these Peter Green, Kirk Hammett, Gary Moore, Les Pauls. You can find them on eBay. In fact, if you want to find Chibsons, go on eBay, look for under the guitar category, and just set the price range at $250 to $350. That's where all the Chibsons are basically in that price range, at $300-ish. This I paid. I think I offered like $275 or something, and I think we settled on $285. And I'm pretty sure that was included shipping. So I think I paid $20 tax or something. So this was about $300. The amazing thing is though, I ordered this like on a Thursday, I think, and it came exactly 7 days later from China. This was not ordered on Temu. This was ordered from somebody in China. So they obviously had an inventory of things. So what is the deal with this? For one thing, I have no idea what kind of and I etch the word, I don't know if you can see it, but I etch fake with a Dremel into all of any guitar that's fake, so nobody can try to sort of pass it off. I don't know what kind of wood it is, but it's light. This thing is about 7.5 pounds. It is the weight is fantastic. And I was one of those Les Paul people that grew up on Norland Gibsons basically from the 70s. And yeah, I always valued a heavier guitar. I was one of those people. I believed the heavier guitar, the better the tone. And of course, that is wrong. But nice and light. It is not a full maple cap though. That's a veneer. So it's maple, but it's not the full carved top. It's just a veneer over the top. But you can see that when you take the pickups out. What have I done to it? It came with some kind of, how I think in the early 70s, somewhere in there, I think Peter put Spursole tuners on it. I can't abide those. I need Grovers on Les Paul, so I put real Grovers on it for the tuners. The other thing is, and this is a thing with some Chibson guitars, the way they had the bridge mounted, the tailpiece and the bridge, it didn't have, I don't know if you can see, but these are sort of what you'd expect, a nice great big hole to mount this. Instead it had a really thin screw, and the hole to mount this was pretty small. So you couldn't really move it, but clearly as you're tightening the strings, there was movement in there. You couldn't feel it when you did it, but there was, because it would not stay in tune really at all. So it needed these are Epiphone. I just bought some used Epiphone parts. I didn't do the drilling. I didn't want to put a drill into the body or bore it out. So I had that done. Then I had the pickups, which actually were fine. The weird thing is though, when they sell you this, or at least this one, as a Peter Green, you know, replica, Gary Moore, Kirk Hammett replica, it was just regular pickups. And this one wasn't even turned around to look like a Peter Green out of phase pickup. So I bought the Green Magic, Green Magic, the Peter Green pickup set. So I paid for that. That was about $300, $250 I think, for the two pickups. And those come already with the neck one already wired for out of phase. So I had that replaced. Frets needed nothing. The rest of it really didn't need anything. So new tuners, had that redone, and the pickups done. I replaced the knobs because they had the mismatching ones, but I think that didn't come till after Peter Green, so I wanted I'm not a Gary Moore fan, not a Kirk Hammett fan, but I'm a big Peter Green fan, so I wanted it to look like his. So swapped those mismatching ones out for matching ones. Why do I prefer this? One, the weight is fantastic. The tone is outstanding. I don't know what this fretboard wood is, no idea, but it's just so nicely done. The other Chibsons, and I've got a few others, so we'll talk about those later. Whatever wood they use, and this is different, but whatever wood they use on some of the other ones, it arrives dry as a bone. You got to oil the hell out of it for a week, because I don't know what that wood is. And in fact, on the other ones, this does not look like it's dyed wood. This looks like the real color of it. That might be rosewood for all I know. I have no idea. But the other ones, it's clearly not a dark wood, and they dye it dark. Looks great, and the average person can't tell. But if you've owned 70 Les Pauls, you know that by looking at it. It sounds great. Here it is with no real distortion. And let's get, this is the out of phase. It gets that kind of honk, kind of. So, of course, with a push-pull to do the out of phase, you can undo it and have it be a regular, pickup setting. With this one, you can't. Anytime you're in the middle position, you're out of phase. Now, you don't have to flip this so that the pole pieces are back. You can have it look, and you'll still get this tone. I had it flipped when I installed the new ones. I switched because that's just for aesthetics, and I wanted it to look like Peter Green's. Turning it around like this and making it look like the pole pieces, that does nothing to make it out of phase. You have to have the magnet flipped inside it. But yeah, it's just everything I want in a Les Paul, and I probably total paid. I did have it just sort of set up with a general setup for $75 or whatever that was. So $300 for the guitar, $250, $600. I'm probably all in close to $700 total, and it is a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot buying a Chibson. You don't know what you're going to get. There's different makers. You could be, if you get really deep into it, there's some makers that people go after. That lady Kathy who does, she almost has like a little custom shop building fake custom Chinese guitars. So that even within the Chibson kind of community, there's a hierarchy. But for me, this does everything I want to do. It is just my favorite. And like I said, the relic job, if you can see sort of flame, but they did put the, it's sort of, you know, the finish is checking and cracking and all of that. They did they aged it on the back too, just like green. Did a nice job. It's not wrecked and beat up, but it's a pretty darn good relic job. No serial number or anything like that. No volute. Just a really solid, dishonest Les Paul quote-unquote guitar. Again, I'm not going to disagree with anyone who says that buying these is wrong, buying these is bad, buying these hurts the Gibson company, buying these, well, I'm not even going to enter that debate. I've tried hard to care about it. I don't. so have that debate somewhere else, and more power to you. I'm just going to play guitars, this one included, because I love it. So, a Chibson Peter Green replica, my favorite. You will be seeing this one on the channel, on a channel near you very soon. It does say Les Paul on there. On Peter's, that's worn away and you don't get it. So that is one strike against the authenticity of a counterfeit guitar. Ireland. Yeah, so we'll be seeing more of this, but this is, in fact, this was the first Chibson I bought. As far as I'm concerned, this is the gold standard of Chibsons. Yeah, I had to put a few hundred into it. Yeah, absolutely I did. But that's kind of the idea of Chibsons, is that it's a starting point for whatever mods you want to make, or don't want to make. We'll get to another one of mine that I bought. I've done nothing to it. That arrived. It does exactly what I want it to do. $300 guitar. You know, for something like this, just the mathematics of value. Does this have resale value? No, it doesn't. In fact, I'm sure I'm not going to sell any of my Chibsons. I'm going to give them away to some kid who can't afford a guitar. But I wouldn't sell it. A Chibson will always be a $300 guitar, basically. No matter what you do to it, no matter what pickups you put in it, these are $300 guitars. And that's you got to go into it knowing that it's not really an investment, you know. However, I mean, my fantasy was to have Peter Green's guitar, man. I love Peter Green. I love his Les Paul. Him and Paul Kossoff. Those are my two favorite Les Pauls. Not the Jimmy Page, not Randy Rhoads. Those were the two I loved. And I'm not. At the time I bought this, you'd have to buy, you know, an $8,000 signature one, which I ain't gonna do. And it just, I wanted to see what the whole Chibson thing was all about. So I took a chance. This one, it paid off in spades. I love it. I will say, how do I say this? If you can't afford to blow $300-ish on a guitar that will turn out to be something you're disappointed in or something you don't like, don't buy a Chibson. If you want to take the gamble, basically, I don't bet on sports, I don't do any of that stuff. I spend no money except on guitars. Well, and brakes on the Porsche. But really, I'm okay spending $300 on a lark and rolling the dice and taking my chances. I don't go to concerts that are $300. I don't do any of that. This is what I spend money on. So I'm okay with taking the risk. If you're not, don't do it. You can end up something that you really don't like, or you can end up something that you love, you know. But that for me, that's the fun of it. It's like going to Atlantic City or Vegas and dropping $300 on a roulette wheel and see what you get. It's the same thing. For me, that's the thrill of it. But we'll see more of this guy. Inlays are probably some cheap plastic, I'm sure. But yeah, $300-ish. And then another $3 to make it, in my opinion. Of the 70 or 80 Les Pauls that I've owned, 60 or 70 are arrived better than this. But this is better than some of the ones I've owned. Not gonna lie. It's just a better guitar than some real Gibsons I've owned. It's a fact. But on the whole, no. A Chibson is not as good as a Gibson. Don't let anyone tell you that. They're just not. However, if it costs 10%, I would expect it to only be 10% as good. Instead, this one is 95% as good as a real Gibson. So it's all in how you define value and what you're looking for. If I were 15 years old and I'd saved up, you know, my lawn mowing money or paper route or whatever, I absolutely would buy one of these. I wanted to be Jimmy Page when I was 15, so I would have had a guitar that said that on it, you know. So yeah, it's really just an extension of that for me. I wanted a Peter Green Les Paul, and I got one for $650-ish total dollars. That's my Chibson rant. More to come. Good luck.